Hello everyone. Let's plant some sweet corn. I'm going to be using a lot of 3-point hitches implements, so I'm going to get rid of my little quick connect here. Unfortunately, I got to do a lot of rearranging to get to my implement, so I'm going to move some of these wheel horses so I can get to my tiller, my planter, and my broadcast fertilizer spreader. Well, I'm going to use the wheel horse for the broadcast spreader. Now we're going to hook up the tiller. Good. Now when you use 3-point hitches, you want to, if you're going to leave your mower mounted like I am, you want to lock it in the up position. That way you can raise and lower your 3-point hitch without the mower going up and down. So I'm going to show you that. You can see down there, you want to rotate it to the top position. Right there, see the top position? Now, when I lower the implement, the deck's going to stay put. Now here's the implement going down, and the deck is still raised. Alright? So there you go. That's because I'm too lazy to pull the deck off and on. So no, it's plenty of ground clearance. If I was doing cultivating, well, there wouldn't be enough ground clearance with that mower on. But with tilling and you running the planter, plenty. But anyway, I'm going to go now, take the wheel horse down here and broadcast some fertilize. Then I'm going to till. This is my close garden. I've already planted tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, zucchinis, and a couple rows of sweet corn because I like to see sweet corn close. Now we're going to go back down here to my, around about an acre plot. Broadcast it, till it, plant it all today. Well, there's my fertilizer rig, the 856. That's a 1966 model wheel horse. Getting ready to spread some fertilize. That's a compost pile. That's late season grass cuttings from last year, fall, and 2 grass cuttings so far this spring. By midsummer to the end of summer, if I turn it enough, it'll be ready to be nice, thick, black compost. Right, here's my corn plot. We're going to start spreading here in a minute. Well, look here, a couple volunteer corn from last year. Isn't that something? All right. Set up the agitator. I don't know if you can see it, but it's spreading. Now let's go down here and do some tilling. So we're neutral. All right. Release the parking brake. Got a little bit of fertilizer with me just in case I'll hand spread some if I see where it didn't spread. I got a lot of clay, so what I really need to do is get some lime brung in. I may do that for next year if I continue to do this, put this corn back here. But my little plot up here, you know, bag stuff will do. But if you're gonna do an acre, you're gonna need to either get one of those industrial broadcasters like the co-ops have. Anyway. Up with the coffee. Yeah, boy. All right. Now, when I was buying a tiller for this, everything I read said I needed to get the 42 inch. Well, I should have got the 50. Because there's so many people now that are pushing those 50-inch tillers with these 22 and 23 horsepower tractors without any problem at all. But, yeah, you know, just the way I have to go about tilling is a little different. Since I only cover one wheel, so I got to do it in such a way to where I get a total feel and get all the tire, wheel marks, ruts tilled. Make any sense? All right, let's get it ready. Now I'm going to put the selector in rear only. All right, that's for the mid-mount mower. That's for both mid-mount and the rear tiller. Now that's if you have like a powered bagger, okay? And this is rear only, all the way forward, disengages it. Now I'm gonna lower it a little bit. At this small one, at that angle, it's just too steep. Let me chain this up. Right. Test run. Yeah, he sounds good. Now the ROPS, you see I got him folded down. I flip him up when I'm mounting and dismounting, but I like it down. I know some safety people are going to say I'm crazy for doing that, but hey, it just, I'm so close to cutting it short anyway, but I won't do it. Anyway, let's get the tilling. Give it some PTO RPM. the dirt, well, the clay is broke up pretty good. I think it's good enough to run the planter. Let's see. Hey. Yeah, I believe it'll do it. There's a lot of clumps still, but well, I'm just not going to get all the clumps out. I could run it 2 more times and it still has some clumps, so I believe the planter will do all right. But anyway, let's go drop the tiller off and go get the planter. All right, this is a John Deere marketed single row planter from back in the 70s, I'm going to guess. And it's rear wheel driven. There's a chain in that chain case that'll turn the wheel. Now there's 2 sprockets in there. I guess I can show you. Here, they pop off. All right, you see these 2 sprockets? One there, one there. Those are geared to plant the seeds every so many inches. These, according to the paperwork I found online, should give me about a seed every 8 inches. Okay, you can see the wheel when it drives. Watch, you'll see a seed drop here in a minute there. You see a seed drop. All right, and this sets the depth right here. All right, and I'm going down about 2 inches. And this is the stand, you know, it's up out of the way. But, and then the spring, it's all designed to keep the constant pressure down. Of course, now this is 70s technology. Now, it did have a sensor on it that would count the singulation. In other words, it would count the seeds going down. These were actually found on multi-row bars. And I don't know if this was originally sold as a single row planter, or if some farmer modified it to a 3-point hitch. But it just barely fits my limited 3-point hitch on my BX23 here. So we're gonna go ahead and start planting. Now, this gauge, once it gets all the way to the bottom, means it's empty. Now, I thought I had more seed than what I did. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the middle, all right? And well, we'll start planting rows until I run out or I get done. Normally it doesn't take a whole lot, but we'll see. So we'll get at it. I'm gonna put the lid, well, I might leave that lid off. What happens is, even though I replaced the tension spring, if for some reason you back up with that still on the ground, it will knock the chain off one of the sprockets. And you'll never know it until you go back to see if you're putting any seed down. So anyway, I may just leave that lid off, and I'm gonna pressure wash it anyway, so I'll clean all the dirt and dust out. So anyway, here we go. Seed out. See the seed coming down right here. See, look at that. Let's get that out of the way. I don't know if you can see it, but it brings it out here. Now, it does not have a separate fertilizer. That's why I did the broadcasting. So anyway, let's check, let's see if I see what depth I'm at. So far I'm not seeing any seeds above ground. I really need to get off and check to see if I'm planting any. I will shortly. Alright, well we got, I don't know how many rows. That's lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's like 18. So anyway, the spacing, I went a little wider than the big time farmers do. Is because I'm going to use my 36-inch wheelbase wide wheel horse to cultivate in between the rows. And once it gets so tall, I don't have anything tall enough to do any other cultivating. I don't have any weed killer I can put down, so I'll end up having to probably use that 36-inch mower in between the rows too. So anyway, that's the spacing I used. It's a little over close between 36 and 40 inches between rows. Anyway, I don't know how many of you all are dog people. We've always had it. I've always had a dog. A lot of times. And well, this past week we had to put our last one down. She was with us for a month shy, 17 years. That's pretty good for a dog. She her right rear leg got to where she couldn't use it at all, and the left leg was failing bad, and she just started suffering real bad. Well, you can't get them to take their meds. You don't want them to suffer. So anyway, that's it's overgrown, but there's probably 15 dogs and I don't know how many cats. And I got some more dirt there, but that's my Gracie right there. And anyway, I hate to end on a morbid deal, but it's really not morbid. You know, life and death, that's the way it works. But you get mighty attached to these animals. And it's like I told my wife, I eat animals. I used to hunt them, used to fish them. And even though my dog was an animal, she was special. But anyway, in memoriam of Gracie. It's been about 8 days later. We've had maybe one rain, and the temps have been down in the 40s at night, but we've got up into the 70s during the day. So I'm not expecting the corn to look real good back here, but it has been 8 days. So let's see. We got us a rabbit. Oh, I see my crooked lines. I don't know if you can see them. Make them out. Oh, those are crooked lines. That's what happens when you start seeding in the middle. Well, I'm going to run this cultivator. And we'll start on this row right here. All right. I don't know if you can make it out. But anyway. And this is the cultivator I'm running. Right here. A cheap aftermarket thing that well, works good with this little tractor. Yes, I do have my mower still mounted, so I'm doing it now because the corn is not tall enough to get affected by the mower yet. So we're going to do it. Well, since I started talking about my dog that I just had to bury, I guess I'll show my dog that I just got. This is Jack. He's about a 1.5 year old rescue, and we've had him about 2 weeks now. and he's we got him neutered, so he's going to hopefully be settled down somewhat. I'm getting him used to the yard, so I'm not going to let him loose just yet, because he is a wild and crazy guy. He just gets on a trail of a rabbit or a squirrel, and that's all he knows. He'll run through it, try to run through a fence. But anyway, I thought I'd close with this. And like I say, this is Jack and a new member of the family.